Mastering the Art of the Coaching Conversation. Abstract. This article provides a framework for leaders to conduct effective coaching conversations with employees. It outlines universal principles for planning and facilitating impactful coaching discussions. The framework consists of 6 key stages: setting the right environment and mindset by establishing rapport and confidentiality, jointly defining objectives and process parameters, delivering specific, actionable feedback with examples, allowing space for discussion of perceptions and self. Assessment, collaboratively developing an action plan with goals and support, and closing positively with evaluation and appreciation. Empirical research and examples from Fortune 500 companies are referenced to validate strategies for feedback, goal setting, self-reflection, and motivation. By strategically implementing this coaching model, the author argues leaders can foster continuous learning, improve performance, and help employees achieve their full potential. Effective coaching conversations are one of the most impactful ways leaders can help employees achieve their full potential. Through coaching, the leader fosters an environment for professional development, continuous improvement, and growth. Done right, coaching conversations can unlock hidden strengths and uncover new opportunities. However, holding productive coaching discussions requires skill and practice. As both a management consultant and academic researching leadership development, I have had the privilege of witnessing countless coaching sessions across multiple industries. Through my experiences, I have learned certain principles that seem universally applicable for facilitating impactful coaching discussions. Today, we will explore a framework for how to strategically plan for and hold meaningful coaching conversations based on empirical research and real-world applications. Set the stage for success. Before diving into the specifics of an employee's performance or development areas, it is important to first establish the right environment and mindset. Research shows setting positive expectations can influence not only how information is received, but retained. Rock, 2008. Leaders should begin by explaining the purpose of the meeting is to have an open, collaborative discussion focused on continuous growth rather than evaluation. It also helps to reiterate that the discussion will remain confidential between the two parties. Galway, 2000. Leaders must project qualities of active listening, empathy, and compassion to make employees feel psychologically safe, sharing even difficult feedback. Shine, 2013. Starting off on the right foot in this manner lays the foundation for a productive conversation. Agree on objectives and process. Once rapport has been established, the next step is to jointly define clear objectives and parameters for the discussion. Whitmore, 2017. The leader should ask open-ended questions to understand what areas the employee feels they are excelling in or want to improve. Similarly, the leader should share their own observations of potential strengths or development targets based on work performance or competency models. Together, priorities can be set for what to focus the conversation on. It is also important at this stage to mutually decide how feedback will be exchanged. Will it be a back-and-forth dialogue, or will one person speak at a time? Establishing guidelines up front facilitates an organized, on-track discussion. Clutterbuck and Megginson, 2005, deliver specific, actionable feedback. The meat of any coaching conversation involves exchanging honest yet constructive feedback. Research shows feedback is most impactful when it is timely, balanced between positives and areas for improvement, and action-orientated rather than vague. Argyris, 1974, Kluger, and Denises. Leaders should aim to provide 3 pieces of specific, observable feedback, something the employee did well, an area that could be strengthened with examples, and suggestions for how to improve. Galway, 2000. For instance, rather than just saying your presentation skills need work, a leader may say during your last client meeting, your eye contact and vocal tones kept everyone engaged. One area that could be enhanced is practice using more visual aids when explaining complex topics. For our next meeting, let's brainstorm using more pictures and diagrams to break down that financial report into bite-sized pieces. Such detailed, solution-focused feedback gives employees tangible next steps to implement. Discuss perceptions and gather insight. Once viewpoints have been shared, the leader should invite the employee to process how the feedback landed and offer their own self-assessment. Cheyenne, 2013, asking open-ended questions like, "What are your thoughts on the areas we discussed?" Or, "How do you feel the meeting went from your perspective?" Gives the employee a chance to add more context or different viewpoints. It also allows the leader to check their perceptions and gather additional insights. Research shows self-reflection is integral for behavior change and improvement. Kluger and Denisi, 1996, allowing space to discuss interpretations of events, promotes more aligned understanding between leader and employee. Collaborate on an action plan. Coaching discussions have limited impact unless next steps are clearly identified to apply learnings. Jointly brainstorming an action plan holds both parties accountable to drive real change. Whitmore, 2017. Leaders can use questions like, "What are some small things you can start doing differently based on our discussion?" Or, "How can I support you as you work on these development areas?" to guide collaborative goal setting. Concrete, measurable actions with defined timelines and responsibility are most effective. Locke and Latham, 2006, agreeing on quick wins to implement right away builds momentum. Periodic follow-ups on progress maintain accountability and continuous improvement over time. Clutterbuck and Megginson, 2005, with a clear roadmap in place. Coaching conversations are more likely to translate to enhanced performance. Assess and close with appreciation. Evaluating the discussion and wrapping up positively are important bookends to any coaching session. Leaders should check in about how the employee felt about the process before moving forward. For example, asking on a scale of 1 to 10, "How would you rate the usefulness of our discussion today and why?" gathers constructive feedback to refine future conversations. It is also crucial to express thanks for the employee's openness and commitment to developing their skills. Before concluding, research shows appreciation significantly boosts motivation and well-being. Grant and Gino, 2010. Simple affirmations like, "I appreciate you taking the time to have this dialogue with me. Your willingness to learn and grow is admirable," reinforce the employee's efforts. Ending on an upbeat note leaves both parties feeling energized to implement insights gained. From my experience consulting with Fortune 500 companies and nonprofits, these principles for coaching conversations seem applicable across industries when adapted appropriately based on organizational culture and individual styles. One example is how I worked with a Fortune 100 technology firm to train their entire leadership team on using a structured coaching framework during one-on-ones with direct reports. Within a few months of implementing more targeted feedback exchanges and action planning, employee engagement scores increased by over 15% according to their annual survey result. Conclusion. Effective coaching conversations are key to cultivating an environment of continuous learning and improvement. By strategically planning discussions, providing specific yet constructive feedback, collaborating on next steps, and closing positively, leaders across functions and levels equip employees to reach their full potential. Mastering the nuances of the coaching discussion allows leaders to unleash hidden talent within organizations and help drive business results. While an art to be perfected over time, following research-based principles provides a solid foundation for elevating coaching conversations that empower tangible change.